Good evening and welcome. 12 people in the house. Am I late or am I on time? I don't know. Oh, yeah, I'm a minute late. Sorry about that. Thomas McNulty's in the house. Good evening, Chris and Sue and the group. The band is of the Auroch Mountain Bread Devil's Dog coming on. Send more videos, Chris. I'm a brunk pension money day. No snowflakes. There you go, Thomas. Karen Evans, good evening. Ian Gaunt, good evening to you. Hope you had a nice holiday. And you've been away for work as well, I think. Graham Allison, good evening. Steve Pace, good evening. Chris DeVoe, good evening. Michael McLaughlin, good evening. Denver Skinner, good evening. Adam Bridgman, good evening. Tracy Dodge, good evening. And Frank Casey, good evening. Not Taylor's Carlos, good evening. And Gary Marriott, good evening to you. Good evening to you. So there we go. 26 people in the house. Fire away with your questions about dog training. That's all we're talking about tonight. We're not talking about who's blowing up whose oil pipes or anything like that, or how well the government are doing and all our mortgages are going up, if who's ever got a mortgage. And the price of cheese. The price of cheese is unbelievable. People will be giving away dogs in a minute because they can't afford to give cheese. Anyway, Sue's in the house. And as you can see, I'm on gin and tonic. No, I'm not. I'm on water and ice and lemon. I've become a health freak. I've changed my ways. Do I look better for it? No, I don't feel better for it. Paul Jarvis, good evening. Still in a lay-by in your lorry, you perv. Good evening, Paul. Peter Piper, good evening to you. Julian Lees, good evening to you. Yes, great holidays in Anglesey. Ooh, he's in Anglesey. Nigel Moore's in the house as well. Look colder. It is a lot colder when they thin your blood. What we're doing, we're saving heating, see? There's no heating on. When Sue comes home, I switch the heating off before she gets in the door because she says, we're going to have to cut back on the heater. Honestly, she doesn't think about me, does she? So I go to bed with 7 jumpers on, 3 sweatshirts. I used to go to bed naked. I used to lie there naked. I think once you've had a bit of alcohol, it doesn't matter, does it? You sleep like a baby. These days, no alcohol. I'm waking up at 3 in the freaking morning, wanting to go working. Get out of it. Yeah, 3 o'clock in the morning. Honestly, no wonder I'm looking bloody tired. How's the Ninja Warrior getting on? She got wet today. She got wet. It's been very wet the last few days. Sue's in the house. I did tell you. You do look thinner in the face, or I've had my ears lowered, you bastards. Sue's laughing. She thinks it's funny, Steve. Yeah, that's it. You should never laugh at your own jokes, Steve.
I've told you before, you do look thinner from the neck up.
Yeah, look, from the neck up, I look thinner. I had a wet towel shave yesterday by them. I don't know, what do you call them? What do you call them? Turkish barber did me hair. And do you know what they did to me? They said, do you want your ears waxing? I went, no. Do you want your nose waxing? I went, no. Then he starts to put the freaking shaving thing in my ear, and it freaking irritated me. I said, what are you doing? He says, you've got airy ears. Well, I can't see inside my ears. So I said, is it that bad? He says, yes, it is. I said, okay, put the wax on then. Has anybody had the wax? Has anybody had that stuff up their nose where they light it with a candle and freaking stick it up your freaking nose, the wax, and in your ears? I look like bloody Trek. I look like Trek in a barber's. Remember that game Trek where you used to be able to take all the parts off his head? I'll tell you what, when he pulled, he said you could make a bloody dog coat out of this. Laughing their heads off, there was. I did not find it funny. Fading away to a baby elephant. Stop it, Peter Piper. Honestly, Peter Piper. No, Paul, gardening. He loves it. He's been to the gym, I reckon. Yeah, no gardening. He loves it. No, I'm not. No, no. He doesn't love it. It's a necessity. They come out the back and said, we want an extra 20 feet or so. I don't know, freaking whatever it was, 10, 15 feet. And I went, hang on, I just built the garden in there. Yeah, but we want it back. We've run out of space. Oh, no. Always get it signed, innit? Always get it signed. That's what we should have done. Got it signed, not a verbal agreement. So I had to dig up the garden out the back and then give them the lovely. And do you know what they've done? They've stuck pallets in there. Pallets. Paul Jarvis, well, the garden looks brilliant. Yeah, it's a necessity now. I've had to move it from there to there. And it's like overnight removals. Honestly, I was working like an idiot. I was only walking 3 days before, or not walking 3 days before. And as soon as I'm up walking, they got me working again. Not on. I got no chance of going to the freaking gym for the next 3 days of the amount of work I've done. So it's not that funny. Peter, fading away like a baby elephant. Sue thinks that's hilarious, Peter. Honestly. Stop it, Peter. Honestly. I'll tell you what, I went out last night. I was in pieces. I was in pieces last night. So I went into Plymouth and I went to the Greek place and I thought I'd have a Greek salad and I'll have a nice piece of lamb. I'll have a nice piece of lamb. I thought, so I ended up having lamb and they brought out potatoes, chips, rice, cauliflower cheese, carrots. Guess what Chris had? Carrots. The rest of it was left. I felt absolutely terrible. There's people starving all over the world, and I've left chips, potatoes, rice, cauliflower cheese. And I said, could I have the salad, please? Could I have the Greek salad? Chris, you look good of what? Thomas, have you been freaking drinking again? This is mad. This is the mad Scotsman. Chris, are look good of beefery? Come on, help me, someone, please. Susan, can you decipher Thomas's comments, please? Honestly, Thomas, I'm dyslexic and it takes me 15 minutes.
Yeah, but
so and you are as well, Thomas, aren't you? Yeah. Thomas McNulty, the mad Scotsman. Chris, you are look good on.
You look good today.
Is that Scottish for you look good today, Paul Jarvis? Just because you're up country, you can understand what you're saying. Anyway, there you go. Thanks for making the effort, Thomas McNulty. Right, okay, so we've not had any questions about dog training. I've just been waffling again. Like I said, some days I come on here and it seems to be nothing but waffling. Absolutely waffling. I did notice that with YouTube, they're trying to suppress me. Everyone's trying to suppress me, haven't they? They try to suppress me because if you give me more thumbs up, I get more views. With less thumbs up, I don't get the views. And remember when the videos were being watched like crazy because there was so many out there? Because of the thumbs up and the algorithms, the way they work, the more thumbs up you give, the more it gets viewed. So it's not that I'm begging for thumbs up, but we can piss them off again if we want to. We can all put thumbs up and send them a message because I was the most watched gun dog trainer out there on the internet. And they didn't like it, did they? So when they got taken down, they suppress it now. And so unless you put the thumbs up to give the views at your ear, there's 38 of you in the house and we got 10 thumbs up, but we only had 4 or 5. At the end of the day, like I say, some of you can't because you're on different formats. So some people are watching it on an iPad, some people are watching it on a laptop, some people watch it on a phone, and some people are watching it on the television. YouTube got you hunting too early, Chris. You've lost me on that one. You look good today. Paul Jarvis, stop it, honestly. Do you know, that's what my girlfriend said before Sue came home.
No, he's deciphering what Thomas said.
All right, Thomas said, you look good today. Honestly, I don't know how you can decipher that. Hi, Chris and Sue. Great to finally join you live. Jan Rod. Welcome, Jan Rod. Welcome. Brilliant. He's in here, isn't he? Ross isn't in here, but his dad's in here, isn't he? I did see him in here. Gary Marriott. Gary, the competition you've got between them cockers and springers, eh? Between you and your lad. Eh? What a bitch he's got. Quality. Oh, Brett's in the house. Bloody hell, normally he's on holiday. Hey, Brett. Good evening. Welcome to the Madhouse, Jan. Tracy Dodds, you're looking well, Chris. Thanks so much, Tracy. Thank you. That means so much. Thank you so much. She even blew me a kiss, look. Oh, I like that girl. Jeff Arroway, good evening to you, Jeff. I've still not got round to putting your video up, Jeff. I've been freaking working my arse off in all weather. She's got me. Do you know what? She had me putting the plants in 6 months ago and building a lovely rockery and all that. She's had me moving the freaking soil as well as the plants all around the back. Honestly, I've got green fingers. No, I've not been playing with tripe. She's a flyer, all right. Yes, she is. And there's some lovely videos coming up. We're going to be putting up there. Martin Lawrence, good evening to you, sir. Good evening. So, does anyone want to talk about dog training tonight? Or are we just having a social evening where we'll all grab a drink and have a drink together, shall we? Yeah, right. Yeah. Drink, Chris? Shut up, Thomas. Thomas, water. Yesterday in the restaurant, he looked at me as if I was something gone wrong with me. I said, no, I'm not being fussy. I'm so sorry I didn't. I should have said, don't bring any of the fattening foods for me. I'm on a diet because of my knee operation. I want this operation. I want to get my knee back in shape. I'm like Rocky at the moment. I play Rocky music every morning and every night. Try and get me in the mood. I've cut right back on the drink. Half a glass of wine a night. Half a glass if I'm lucky. Some nights I don't even bother. How can you do it, Chris? How can you do it when you were such an heavy drinker? Heavy drinker. How can you do it? Well, it's like sex, isn't it? Just switch it off, switch it on, can't I, Sue?
Well, how far are we in?
Sorry? Sex burns calories, doesn't it? Paul Jarvis.
14 minutes. That's quite.
Paul Jarvis, it is water, but it's got, to make it a little bit better, it's got lemon and ice in it. So I sat in. You were a dedicated drinker. Yep. I thought you said, do you know what, being dyslexic, I thought you said dehydrated. I thought, how did you know? So it's like having a nipple, isn't it, to chew on. If you're not getting sex, but you've got a nipple to chew on, you can manage, can't you, for a few days? And that's what the water in the glass is like. It reminds me of alcohol, just picking it up. It's a comfort blanket. You know what I mean? Like a nipple. It's a comfort blanket. That's honestly, where did these thoughts come from? Where did these? Okay. So I watched a fantastic thing. I watched two fantastic things this week. One, should I tell you about them? Because no one's asking any questions about dog training. And if you're interested, well worth watching. Well worth watching. But I forgot what they are. One of them was John McEnroe documentary that's on Apple, or I think you can get it on a lot of things, but it's on Apple, and it's 2 hours long. But it's absolutely amazing how that man's mind worked when he was playing tennis, and how the frustration of wanting to become a perfectionist. Who in the group want to become a perfectionist, or are you happy with the standard that you've got and the knowledge you've got? Who wants to become a perfectionist in what they do? When you watch someone like McEnroe open up and explain about his life and his drive and the way his parents pushed him and the way he was as a person, He was never happy with 3/4. He was obsessed with winning, and let the frustration and the tantrums. I just thought it was fascinating watching. Absolutely fascinating to watch. And if anyone's interested in that sort of thing, I mean, he was a genius of a player, wasn't he? Absolutely a genius of a player. But the way he punished himself, you can't be serious, man. That ball was not out. Did you not see? Yeah, he was quite rude, wasn't he, to umpires, wasn't he? He was quite rude to umpires. He had definitely a wicked streak in him, didn't he? Anyway, any questions about dog training, or should we just carry on? Second place for losers. I like it, Peter Piper. I like it.
Or it could be second place, at least you're trying.
Oh, here we go. She went to a different school than most of us. Second place is at least you're trying. Second place is failure. Second place is failure. Winning is everything. I was a bit like that with trialing. I pushed myself so much. I don't think I became obsessed by it totally, but I was so driven by it. I put other things to the side a little bit, and you had to get into a reality check. My biggest downfall, and I do view it as a downfall, is I always strive for perfection. I do in the bedroom, Denver. You'll have to ask Sue about that. Oh, we just get in the background. Did you hear that? Oh, thank you for asking a dog question, because I tell you what, I'm just ad-libbing at the moment. I'm getting further and further. Lenny Bruce, that's what I was going to talk about next. Who knows Lenny Bruce? Anything about Lenny Bruce? Who's going on to shoots this season, or are some not going ahead? Paul Jarvis, yeah, some aren't. Jan Rod says, at what age would you introduce a dog to pheasants and game? When you say game, in a rabbit pen, I'd put an 8-9-month-old dog in the rabbit pen and let it chase and see what it'll do. I wouldn't worry about putting a dog in the rabbit pen and let it chase. I wouldn't try stopping it if I've not put the stop on it properly. I would get the stop on it outside on dummies before I go on to the pheasants, but I would let it chase. But on game, I think that same sort of age, if you're hunting it around and it puts up a bird, if it goes after it, I wouldn't punish the dog for it, but I just want to see what the dog's attitude is when it gets onto that. And I think some dogs are a bit like humans, aren't they? Some dogs seem to push for more and more desire and drive, and others are quite happy in that mid-pace. Paul Jarvis, I'm lucky with all my shoots are going ahead, says Gary. So Lenny Bruce, anybody want to talk about Lenny Bruce? That's another program that I watched about Lenny Bruce, and it's amazing, isn't it, that Lenny Bruce was a maverick in his time. Okay, he was a heroin addict. He was into drugs, cocaine. He was into all sorts of stuff, and that's what killed him. But the frustration killed him as well. The frustration of not having freedom of speech. And what Lenny Bruce actually did for comedy, as in freedom of speech, pushed the boundaries. That's what he did. He was a maverick. He pushed the boundaries. He took it to new levels, and he ended up in front of the courts on a regular basis for his outspoken comments, when in reality, it's just life, isn't it? It's life. But if a comedian said what he was saying, going back, 30 years, you would be in real trouble. And he was in the comedy clubs, he was in the strip clubs, but he was pushing the boundaries for comedy, but he set a precedence for comedians of today. And so you look back and think, well, it's easy to class people as mavericks, and I think too many people do. But at the end of the day, he set a precedence in what he did. Well, I'm not trying to put myself in any category of I'm a maverick, but I'm one of the few will talk about discipline, show discipline, hold my own, stand up for what I believe in on the internet as a gun dog trainer. Can you name anybody else who does that really in the gun dog world? Can you name anybody who says at certain times discipline, there's no downfall for the dog by giving a dog discipline at the right time, as long as the dog understands the behavior, educating people in that way. And I think that because going back 6 years, my videos were so popular. If you put in Gundog Trainer, up come Chris Upton on YouTube. What you've got now is a mixture of about 50, 60 people. If you put in Gundog Trainer, you haven't got Chris Upton. Denver says, I have a few shoots cancelled. Bracken is all ready to go. We are out again on Friday. Finch isn't ready yet. Denver Skinner, Chris, how do you get a dog's nose down when they mark so brilliantly if you don't have access to game? Okay, I'm going to have to read this one again, Denver, because you want to be a perfectionist. Chris, how do you get a dog's nose down? Right, okay. When they mark so brilliantly if you don't have access to game. You'll have to break that one down a little bit for me, Denver, because if you said to me, how do I get a dog's nose down if they haven't got much access to game, I'd use the tennis ball, I'd use the dummy, because that's why we have to get the desire right up there with that if you haven't got a lot of access to game. If you've got access to game, you don't need birds taking off in front of the dog on a regular basis. You just need scent. So if you haven't got access to game, but you can get the dog on scent where birds have been, you can get the head down, no problem at all. So it's a little bit of a double question that I don't really understand. Chris, how do you get a dog's nose down when they mark so brilliantly? What do you mean when they mark so brilliantly? You mean when a bird flies, they watch the bird away? We'll put them on the air, on the ground where the bird took off from, because the bird hadn't just stood there; it would have moved around in that area. And so once the bird has taken off, bring the dog back into the same ground, and we call it double hunting. But to get the dog's nose down to show the dog what you want it to do, find game, that's the way I'd do it. Other than that, I don't understand your question. Will you be taking Finch towards the end? Oh, will you be taking? Oh, he's talking to Gary. Sorry. Nobody says it, but plenty to do it. Plenty do it. Of course they do, Gary. Yeah, we're talking about discipline there. Absolutely loads of. And the thing is, if I'm not on the big wide world web showing discipline, showing correction, showing how correction does not bother the dog, if you do it the way I show you, you actually get a good result from the giving correction at the right time. How the hell do people know how to do it if no one else is talking about it? It's as simple as that. You told me last week to use the stop whistle to prevent my 15-month-old lab doing a lap of honor before delivery. It has worked a treat, mate. Really appreciate the advice. It's no problem at all, Alistair. It's the simple little things that you learn to master yourself because you've seen it time and time again with clients, and you've seen it time and time with your own dogs. It's just those little tips. There's people on here who are training dogs to a very, very high standard, as good as I can train most of the time. It's very fine lines. Gary's lad is a fine example of that with the dogs he's got. He's allowed the dog to take over a little bit, and the dog is pushing boundaries. But I then saw that in the bitch, even though the bitch is unbelievably good, I saw same traits creeping out. And if Ross doesn't tidy that up at this point, he's going to have exactly what he's got with the dog with the bitch. And yet the bitch is so more biddable, more willing to please, where the dog says, I want to do it, but I want to do it my way. If you allow the dog to take over and think it is top dog, and that's not a dominance thing, that you've got to be over dominant and dominant with the dog, but you've got to show leadership. You've got to show that you're calm. And Ross is such a calm lad when he's working the dog. It's lovely to see. But what you can't let is complacency creep in. And as you'll see on the videos that are going up on Patreon, if we put these videos that we're putting up on Patreon back on YouTube, I'd be bang right back up there with all the views that I was getting. The idea is it's on Patreon because I can control the idiots, where I can't control the idiots if it just goes up on YouTube, because there's so many of them. There's so many of them. And then what happens? It ruins it for others, doesn't it? So the people who are willing to pay get that on YouTube, on Patreon, And we've got a closed group, really, haven't we? That, if we put something up and we analyze it and talk about it, how many times have we been shot down? How many times have we had argument after argument with idiot? We haven't, have we? We haven't. Graham Allison says, I drove 120 miles across Cotswolds on Monday, and it's a route I travelled for years, never known such lack of pheasants seen. I can't be many put down as not many roadkills either. Right. Yes, hopefully we'll see how it goes. Great videos on Patreon. That's where the knowledge is. I think you're dead right. I think you're dead right there. Idiots breed idiots, unfortunately. Yeah, I think you're dead right. Gary Merritt, Patreon is the best place to learn. I think it helps you because it's such diverse standard of dogs, isn't there? There's some really, really good dogs, but there's some dogs that were struggling, and it's helping people coming up through the ranks, where a lot of people have got their dogs to such a good standard. I bet you flick through the videos, I bet you go, oh, I don't see that. I've seen that so many times with Chris, where other videos, people really sit down and watch them or double watch them. I get so many people. I had some lovely comments this week from people from all over the world saying that, your videos are so, what's the word? That no, they get so into them. What? Sorry?
Hurt.
Put what?
Hurt.
Hooked. Yeah, could be the word. Yeah, become watching 4 or 5 of them a night and things like that when I put them up, because of everything that's been happening with my situation, and a lot of you know what the situation is, where I'm wearing one of these collars around my ankles for headbutting a lamppost in Bristol, and the police are monitoring me on a regular basis. I've not been putting up so many videos because I've been sitting there scratching my ankle with one of them shoe horns. No, with all the things that's been happening, I haven't been putting up so many videos. And I thought to myself, I wonder if people are missing those videos. So tell me, guys, are you missing those extra videos that you normally get? Or is it give you a mental break and you've had time to do your own things? And at the end of the day, the shooting season's come in and you've been working on your dogs? Or because one of the things that Patreon says is if you put up less videos, you get more views, more membership. Well, I don't chase membership. Else I'd put up glossy videos and I'd employ a kennel maid with big tits. Oh, can I say that? Hang on, I might be in trouble a bit like that comedian, isn't it? Can I say tits on here? Big breasts. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you're a woman or a man, as long as you like big breasts, you're going to watch it, aren't you? Well, I would anyway. Steve Pace says, I watch every video that is put on in Patreon and on Corleone Talk. You learn so much by watching the handler and the dog. I think you do, Steve. I think that's the thing, isn't it? Each handler is making slight mistakes. Only slight mistakes, a lot of them. Some are making major mistakes, but it's all to do with timing. And yet they still got the dogs to a good standard, but just polish makes the dog and them so much better as a team. Watch both of the videos with Ross. Really, really great looking bitch. Yes, she is a lovely looking bitch. You would be okay with a lady boy with big tits. That's what Sue said. She says, look, you're not having another woman in the kennel. You've got me, but you can have a lady boy if you want, because she knows I'm not going to go nowhere near a lady boy. Not that I've tried, and they do reckon you shouldn't knock it till you've tried it. But there's something in the back of my mind that says, no, not for me. Not for me. Don't get me wrong, I do like sausage, but it's got to have a... I'm allowed to eat sausage. I'm on a caveman diet.
Nigel will come in now going, no, we can't.
Nigel will come in and say, I can't. What, have the sausage? No, there's something comforting about big breasts, isn't there? Especially if you haven't got them. You learn from the mistakes. Totally agree, Steve Pace says, Karen. Yeah, and I think that the wonderful thing about the Patreon group for me is your videos. When you put your videos up or you send the videos in to me and I can critique them. Now, the problem is when you put them up in Corleone Talk, I can't critique them because I can't take them down off Corleone Talk the way it's set up. If you send them to me in WhatsApp, is that what it's called, Sue?
Yeah, what's that?
WhatsApp, right? I can then put them up on the screen and I can do a voiceover and just show you the good points to people. And I think that's just as important, isn't it? Because if there's good things on the video, the first thing I'm going to do is well done, because there's nothing better than having praise, especially if you think, am I getting there or am I struggling? Pick up the good points, but highlight the things you can improve on. And anybody can stand there throwing dummies. You can go training with anybody, can't you? But can they break down the videos and give you a running commentary on your videos for the group to see? And the group is such a friendly group. Everybody gives everybody else support in the group, don't they? And I think that's wonderful. There's been some wonderful, wonderful comments that people have reached out um, and gave their input to people who've just started or they're struggling with a dog, or when they've got a good dog, they're the first ones to say that is cracking. And I think the group is so well balanced. I'm not just saying it. I think it's the most well balanced group that I've seen. But don't get me wrong, I've come away from all them Facebook groups. I'm not interested in those Facebook groups. They don't interest me at all. It's it's a dick measuring competition, isn't it? And mine is shrinking. I'm losing so much weight.
Only from the neck up.
Only from the neck up, Sue said. Cheeky sod. Honestly, couldn't. Do you know what? I enjoyed it when you could beat your wife with a stick of a certain dimension. You know, that's when in the 70s it was far better. You just couldn't abuse her, but you could beat her with a stick of a certain dimension. Honestly, things have gone stupid, haven't they?
Can't do it now.
Can't do it now. She knows it, see? She knows it. You wouldn't come out with stuff like that, would she? Honestly. Anyone who has been following Patreon is guaranteed that their dogs get to a high standard as mature and learn, as we mature and learn, exactly, as well as the dogs. Great group of people that have become mates without even meeting most of them. Yep, exactly. And that's what's so nice about, the internet can be such a nasty, bitchy place, can't it? It can be such a nasty, bitchy place where people want to give their opinion and half of them haven't got a freaking clue, have they? That's the whole point, isn't it? So what we've created, not me, we, a group, have created with my help and Sol's insight into take it down this way in this direction, because it will protect you more and you'll be able to put up your videos and not have the idiots. It's worked, hasn't it? It's worked. And there's nothing on there that I'm ashamed of or I want to hide. I just don't want idiots aboard. It's simple. It's simple, isn't it? If the idiots want to come aboard, they'll have to pay. And if they're rude, I just take them down. It's simple. It's not a group, it's a family. Exactly, Gary. It's a family. And at the end of the day, you get 2 live feeds, don't you? We get one on Corleone Talk, where you can come in, have a laugh, have a drink, give your opinion, check everybody's okay who comes on a regular basis. If someone doesn't turn up for a regular basis, we all ask, where's so-and-so? Is he okay or is she okay? And that's the nice thing about the group, isn't it? Very seldom do we have any negativity. Nigel Moore said he looks forward to Corleone chat on a Sunday. Plenty to learn there. Yeah, because on there we tend to talk a little bit more about the dogs, don't we? And my health. That's what we've been talking about lately, haven't we? Upton's bloody health. I'm sick and tired of your health, Upton. You're looking all right to me, you fat bastard. Stop it. Stop it. Can you say that? Lenny Bruce wouldn't get away with that years ago, would he? Anyway, look at that. Look, Karen 100%. Steve Pace works 100%. I think it does work 90%. It's just a shame we haven't got more input from some silent viewers. We've got the members, but some of them love to sit back and just watch, don't they? And that's your preference, precedence. You can do what you want to do. You join the group. You don't have to, be center of attention or want to be up there with a lot of people who regulars. But it's lovely. I enjoy the regulars. I enjoy having banter. I enjoy having discussions. I enjoy having disagreements. But our disagreements are constructive, aren't they? Majority of the time, what we talk about is we break it down, but we have an open mind, and that's the good thing about the group. We have a open mind, and like a lot of people said, the lockdown was great when we had the live feeds because it brought people together where we were isolated. It was like a big family, wasn't it? Like a number of people have said on it, like Karen says, it's not a group, it's a family. It brought us together, didn't it, in times of trouble. Well, I've decided that I'm earning that much money at the moment. Anybody struggling with a mortgage increase, please send Sue the bill and she'll reach out and help you.
In their dream.
In your dreams, she said, you cheeky bunkers. Honestly, you wouldn't help a helping hand. We're new to the group, but I've been following you forever and a day. No, you're the best, and we'll be popping back down to see you both. Thanks, Jan. Great to see you. Um, I'm not. I don't think I'm the best. I think I'm one of the most honest, and sometimes my honesty gets me in trouble. As simple as that. Sue's won the lottery. It's this Paul Jarvis. Yeah, I'll tell you what. Isn't it wonderful? Isn't it the government? Isn't it? Eh? Shall we go into the government? Shall we, or should we just stay happy and keep waffling, not mentioning the government? Honestly, they give us in one hand and then take it away with another. Innit? Put the frigging mortgages up now. These people on these houses at the back of us now that have gone up, and they're like £300,000. Jesus Christ! Imagine the mortgages have gone up on that. No, Paul, £1 off me tax I pay. She says, "Look, do you know what? She's a penny pincher, isn't she? Look, see, penny pincher, get it? She's a bloody pen. Do you know what? I'm enjoying this water better than wine." Chris won the lottery when he met Sue. Yeah, yeah. Thanks for that, Jules. I won her in a scratch card. Chris is one of the country's top earners now with the Tories. Yeah, that's it. That's it. I mean, this is the thing, isn't it? I'm getting taxed silly. Absolutely being taxed stupid. I wish. I'll tell you what, it's hell of a funny, isn't it, since lockdown. It's never been as it was unbelievably busy before lockdown. Lockdown's changed a lot of people's outlooks, hasn't it? And at the end of the day, people have had to make cutbacks, haven't they? Yeah, that's it, Chris, isn't it? Don't mention mortgage, try getting one. Yeah, they've all closed on it, haven't they? And let's be honest, who bombed the pipelines? Russia's got a tap that they can switch it on and switch it off. Why would you bomb it when you built it? Russia. You wouldn't, would you? It's propaganda again, isn't it? It's propaganda. At the end of the day, it was the Americans. I got Biden actually saying, we've got ways of stopping it. It will never happen if they invade. If I won the lottery, I wouldn't tell anyone, but there would be signs on my kennels. There would be signs my kennels would have marble floors, slippy as freaking hell, Karen. You kill yourself. Imagine winning the lottery and then killing yourself on a marble floor. Oh, Jesus Christ. Imagine wet marble floor. You want to buy rubber mats?
Top grade.
Michael McLaughlin, Liz Truss, holy shit. Boris, please come back. He can party all day and the market stays sane. Exactly. Exactly, Michael. We agree. It's like they slagged Trump off like unbelievable, isn't it? He didn't go to war with anyone. He threatened that little fat Korean, didn't he? That North Korean. That if you kick off, we got bigger rockets than you, Rocket Man. And he just put him in his place, didn't he? Now what are they doing? They're firing off missiles. Everyone's gone mad. Everyone's gone mad. And it's the same with this crap, isn't it? We got Taiwan, we got China, we got Russia, we got India. Who do we send our money to? India. Every time they got a disaster, we send our money to India. Hey, needs a reality check here somewhere, doesn't it? Hey, it needs a reality check. This world's going to the dogs, isn't it? She hadn't got a clue. Do you know what? We had a choice, didn't we? Between the ex-chancellor, is it chancellor? Yeah, ex-chancellor or Liz Truss. And they picked Liz Truss. Trust the Conservative Party to pick the idiot. The chancellor was saying, "Don't go down that road. It will cause a freaking crash." He was dead right. I'd go, Liz Truss. Bye bye, Richie. Please come back and bring Boris with you, because he was a freaking idiot, but life was funny. Yeah, Peter Piper, I've seen it. Jonathan Pye's video on the budget is worth watching. Funny but true. Exactly. That's it, Andy Stead. Hey, Andy Stead's in the house. Good old Andy. How are you doing from Jersey? Charity starts at home. Andy, you've helped me out so much over the years, mate. You've not left your charity at home. You've reached out and helped Fat Boy in Cornwall, haven't you? You've supported me all those years, Andy. Always appreciate that, mate. Always appreciate that. Through thick and thin, Andy Stead was there. I was thick. Now I'm getting thin. Shut up. Andy, look. Yeah. They are they are class, Gary. Great workmanship.
That was from Gary said, got my training vest from Ray yesterday. It's a work of art.
Oh, did you see that second-hand vest someone put up on the group? That was cheap, wasn't it? The only problem is you got to find out what size it was. Looking good, Chris. Cheers, Andy, mate. Thank you very much. Andy, I've lost 1.5 stone. No, 1.25 stone. I had lost 1.5 stone, but it went back on for some reason. I don't know about these diets. I've stopped that much drinking. I've stopped that much food. It would come off quick for the first month, and then it's really taking its time now. Oh, that's when it does, she said. Oh, that's when it does. Unless you stop eating.
No, it comes off slowly.
It comes off slowly after a while. Shall I stand up and just show you? No, better not. You know what happened to Lenny Bruce when he got his tool out? No, he didn't get his tool out, did he? No, he just said a few rude things. Muscle goes, it weighs heavier than fat. Yeah, you're right, Michael. You're right. So what I'm doing is, instead of doing heavy weights down the gym, Michael, I'm doing light weights but more reps. How about that? I've joined the gym, Andy. Have I told you? And honestly, there are some fit-looking women in there. And I was the fat boy, and it's falling off me. The compliments I'm getting, Andy, is unbelievable. Honestly, fat boy can run. Fat boy can dance. Honestly, you should see me in a leotard. Lycra, isn't it? Not a leotard. That's what leotard. That's what gymnasts wear, isn't it? That's what Michael. It's motivating me. Michael, exercise your eyes at the gym. That's what I'm thinking. What's the point in going there and watching two sweaty blokes pouring with sweat, lifting big weights like cavemen? I'm there doing this, like going, no, you know. Is that right? Or is it like that? I don't know. Anyway, I go in there for 2 days. I got to stop for a day then because everything is freaking burning and aching. I tell you what, it's not like when you were a youngster. Lots of reps, burns off in no time. You got no chance, Andy. Andy, you get on that exercise bike. You can be on it for an hour and it tells you you've lost 60 calories. I mean, a freaking apple's got 12 calories in it, isn't it?
I was thinking 3 biscuits.
3 biscuits, Sue said. She said, I've never done a bit of exercise in my life. Well, it's all right for you, innit, Sue? For fat boys like me, innit, eh? And to be honest with you, Fat Boy Slim, praise you like I should. Honestly, Jules. Honestly. But the thing is, I've not been to the gym for 3 days because I've been moving frickin' wheelbarrow after frickin' wheelbarrow of soil. Honestly, she goes, oh, it's a lovely time to replant. Oh, I'm glad it's this time of year we're doing it. I'm thinking, no, I wish I was in the gym on the bike looking at the women. Hey? Oh, I love gardening, don't you? No, I don't. I haven't got green fingers. It'll be worth it in the end. It'll just keep Susie Two Shoes happy. Better put in a garden in the caravan. In the horse box. Nay, she says. You're supposed to set it on the hill mode, Andy. Andy, we've all got to start somewhere. I would not get the compliments I'm getting, peddling like a lunatic, if I was on hill mode, sweating like a pig. Anyway, we got enough hills round here, haven't we? Who was it who came here the other day? We went out, and for the first time, I actually walked the two hills, the steep hills, and he went, bloody hell, these hills are steep round here, aren't they? I said, yeah, you haven't seen half of them. I remember Andy sweating like a blinking rapist when he came here shooting with his dog. The only problem is Andy's 10 years older than me, I think. How old are you, Andy, now? Honestly, we're both pensioners, aren't we?
You're not a pensioner.
What a tune, you. What a tune.
That voice Len plays you like I should.
Yeah, brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant. And when you rave to that, you'll sweat. Especially on acid. I've never been on acid in my life. How would I know? Anyway, I see Steve Pace was out on holiday, wasn't he? He went on the boat, didn't he? Having a drinking holiday. I seen all the bloody drink. I'm thinking, you bastard, rub it in. I'm not allowed to drink at the moment because of me. I can't say, can I? Can't say. Don't. Mum's the word, because there'll be someone writing an essay about it. I'm going back training. 66. I'm going back training. What, martial arts, Andy? At 66? I mean, you and Pierre, honestly. Whose birthday is it? Happy birthday.
Andy,
When?
tomorrow.
No, he's going back training tomorrow. He's 66.
66 tomorrow.
Bloody hell, Andy. I'd have sent you a bottle of whiskey and I'm not using. Happy birthday, Andy, for tomorrow. I thought you meant you're going back training tomorrow. And you're 66. Steve says I'm paying for it now. I've shown my lips shut. Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen all the drink. I thought, I bet he's had a great time. Hey, imagine not having to worry about drink and drive when you're on a boat. Just keep drinking. Happy birthday, Andy says Sue. Happy birthday. Honestly, you're all. What happened there? It was a moth, I think. Anyway, any dog grading questions? Any dog grading questions? Look, I've had half a pint of water. Honestly, I find it easier when I've had some wine or some beer or some whiskey. I seem to flow better. How am I doing just on water? Could you give me a bit of a rundown? Am I doing all right, or am I struggling? I feel like I'm struggling. I feel like I'm really, really struggling. Come on, help me. Yeah, Pierre is old with the boy of a 15-year-old. Yeah, honestly, he is, isn't he? He is. Yeah, he's got the body of a 15-year-old. You're dead right. But by God, I think he's 60 something. Got to see the Northern Lights. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely fantastic. Who was that? Linda's farm, wasn't it? Northern Lights. Am I right, everyone? Was it Linda's farm? Northern Lights? Come on, help me out. Michael says I'm doing grand. He suspects it's gin and tonic. I wish it frigging was, Michael. Honestly, they reckon that once you get, I can't say it, can I? Once you get gout, you have to be careful because it can reoccur. So to flush the crystals, you've got to keep drinking lots and lots of fluid. I thought, great, lovely wine, whiskey. I can do that. Beer, no problem at all. And then you look down the health things, it says no beer. Cut out on the Steve Pace Northern Lights. Were you in Blackpool? He's a fucking release. Honestly, yeah, on a ferry. He went up Blackpool High Street on a ferry. Anyway, we've had 50 minutes. Time flies when you're having fun, innit? But we've not answered many dog training questions, have we? It's just a social evening on a Wednesday night, isn't it? We just all we all have a laugh, don't we? Anyway, there was something else I was going to say. Oh, like I said, Jeff's video, I got a lovely bit of training video for Jeff. His dog went really, really well. We put the dog on scent, put the dog on some birds, and he went really, really well. Steve Pace has been cruising. Honestly, you get in trouble cruising around here, especially up Kid Hill. In Norway. You go skiing in Norway, don't you? Not cruising. Yeah, so Jeff, I apologise, Jeff, about you not getting your videos up this week. I've been, like I said, I've been moving this bloody garden thing. Honestly, Jeff turned up and I was absolutely filthy. I look like a gardener. Honestly, I look like a bloody gardener. It was unbelievable. I was never into gardening, and they reckon when you start gardening, you're getting closer to God. Well, I don't believe in God, so I don't believe what they say. Can I say that on here? Or will I be damned? Damned if you do and damned if you don't. So you just say what you want, can't you? Anyway, I can't believe. No, Jules, I didn't. I didn't have an ace time gardening. I hope you. I hope you. I hope you're talking to Steve there, Jules, about gardening, about having a good time. Steve Pace, Corleone Landscape Limited. Yeah, it would be freaking limited. Honestly, you should see me. You should see me. Honestly, do you know that? Do you know the Adams family, the one with the bolt in his head? What's his name? Lurch, in it? Is it Lurch? No, no. The one with the bolt in his head. Come on, someone. No, Lurch. Isn't Lurch the little one?
No.
Lurch is the one with the bolt in his head. Am I right or not? Yeah, we know how he walks. That's how I freaking walk now. Be growing veg next. Fester. Uncle Fester. He got a bolt head, hasn't he? Frankenstein. Honestly, you lot. Uncle Fester. Hang on. Yeah, so anyway, let's go back to the hairdressers yesterday. It goes in the hairdressers, and it's it's one of them Turkish barbers. So honestly, goes in there and he says, What can I do for you? I says, I'd like an haircut. Well, you're going to freaking barbers. Normally you're asking for an haircut, aren't you? So he said, okay. He said, what grade is it? I said, I don't freaking know. I said, short on the side and leave it longer on the top. So he says, a 3? I said, I got no idea, mate. I said, just short on the side and longer on the top. Now, I don't know these things because normally I cut my own hair, but And he said, do you want your eyebrows done? I said, my eyebrows? He says, yeah, you got some grey bits coming out. Look like freaking Jack Nicholson. I says, yeah, right. So he does the eyebrows as well. And I'm sitting there and he's doing my hair and he does it with these cutters and then he does it with scissors and he goes back over it again. I'm thinking, hurry up. And then I look up at the price list and he said, do you want a wet shave or do you want a wet shave or a dry shave? I says, a wet shave, we put a towel around me, a steam towel and all that. All right, so I look up there and there's more money on that. And then, like I said to you, he says, do you want your nostrils, you want your hairs in your nostrils and your hairs in your ears? I tell you what, like I said to you before, I look like Trek. I had the freaking stuff coming out my ears, out my nostrils. I'm all red in the face with a freaking towel around me. And he's got a cutthroat razor. I'm thinking, he could take my life any second now. I said, it could have all been over, couldn't it? But don't they graft in them Turkish barbers, don't they? So he says, is there anything else you can do? I says, can you give me a reach round? well, what else can they do to me? They've done me nostrils, they've done me eyebrows, they've done me freaking head, they've done me beard. Is there anything else I can do for you? Honestly, it's unbelievable. So he said, no, don't do that. I said, well, have you got any condoms? Remember when we used to go to the barbers as youngsters? I used to go to barbers in Derby on a regular basis when I was the disco duck. I used to go disco dancing, and I used to go to Wigan Casino, Northern Soul dancing, and I used to really make an appearance. Appearance meant a lot to me in them days. I don't give a shit these days. I just need to stop myself looking like a tramp, like a split mattress. Gary, yeah, back, sack, and crack. That's what I should have said to him, shouldn't I? I hope he didn't beg you. So he goes, we don't sell condoms. I said, no, we're not having sex. I don't think he had the same sense of humour as me. I think he thought, he's very weird. He's very weird. Well, I thought it was very weird offering to stick some up my freaking nose and charge me for it. If you want to stick some up my nose, it should be free. You can see what comes out there. Anyway, as he pulled, I swear I thought my brains came out at one point. I really thought my brains had left my body. And he went, look at that. So I don't want to fucking look at it. Why do I want to look what's on the end of the freaking thing that comes out of my nose? Honestly, there was hairs everywhere, all over it. Honestly, back, sack, and crack. That's what happens when Sue goes for her hair to be done. She's got a girl she goes to on a regular basis, and she bought dogs from us. She's called Kim, and I said, Kim, any chance of a back, sack, and crack? She says, get in that chair. She's got a sense of humour. She said, Kim has. Yeah. She's got a right sense of humour. But these foreigners, honestly, they're all right. They work their asses off, don't they? I mean, would you enjoy putting that thing up people's noses and pulling the shit out? Hey, what a job! It's like being an undertaker, isn't it? There's got to be days you just think, oh, I can't be arsed doing this today. I'll just go, okay, just do your haircut. I can't be bothered to stick something up your freaking nose, but they love it, don't they? And then the bill just keeps going like that, doesn't it? No wonder there's freaking so many Turkish barbers. Have you? There's money in shit. There is money in shit. You're dead right, Steve. And what I'm saying is, they work their asses off, don't they? They're open from like 8 in the morning to like 8 at night in Plymouth, so you can get your hair cut more or less any time. And you don't have to wait for ages because there's about 9 of them all lined up. And there's about, I don't know about your area where you people live, but hasn't it gone crazy about Turkish barbers everywhere? Does anybody else use Turkish barber? Gary Marriott, how much did you pay for your pamper session? Have a guess. Have a guess what I paid for my pamper session. Tracy Dodds doesn't go to Turkish barbers. There was a girl in there having those, they put them patterns in your head as well. Have you seen the back of my head? No, it's just my neck. Paul Jarvis, 150. Where the freaking hell do you live, Paul Jarvis? 28. Hey, Gary Marriott, he's been to the Turkish barbers, Sue. 28 bloody quid with everything added up, Gary. I could have gone home and done it myself. And done me pubes at the same time. It would be a day for me. Well, you've got no hair, Paul. Paul, have you looked in the mirror lately? You've got no freaking hair. You'd say 15 quid before you started. £5 for look at it. No, the closer we get is a Syrian just out of a rubber dinghy. Michael McLaughlin, wash your mouth out. I meant cheap. Yeah. No, I think they work hard. I think they deserve everything they get, really. But I've never paid that sort of money. But yes, I think I paid £25, Gary, and I give 2 quid tip. So yeah, but I was in there for an hour. I mean, they got a big head to sort out. I got slightly claustrophobic when he kept rubbing his penis on my leg as he kept coming around me on a regular basis. Perhaps too much information, but I just thought I'd let you know. Perhaps he was getting a few thrills, but anyway, I kept my trousers on. Anyway, I mean cheap. Anyway, on that note, after trying to educate you all about my barbers, was it worth it? Do I look better for it? That's the main thing, isn't it? I mean, do I look better for it, or did I look drawn, aged, and troubled last week? And you thought, wow, he looks a different person this week. It looks like the medicine's working. Anyway, it's always about me, innit? It should be about you. What have you been doing this week, everyone? Yes, dear. She doesn't do it. She goes to, she comes home yesterday and goes, oh, have you had your haircut? Are you blind? Can you not see how beautiful I am now compared to what I was yesterday? I'm like an old man sitting on the sofa. Feeling sorry for myself. The only thing in my town is a Turkish barber's pie shop. And I wouldn't eat a freaking pie and a kebab. No, have you not watched Sweeney Todd? Don't have pies in Turkish shops. Kebab. Oh my God. Do you know what's on a kebab? Oh, the only thing I have in a Turkish shop is lamb on the skewers. That's the only thing I have. Steve Pace says you look like Tintin with a goatee. You look brand new, Chris. Peter Piper thought that's funny. Peter, next time you come here, you're going to get beasted, pal. Hey, Peter Piper, you'll be blowing your pipe. Hey, hey, you'll be on your flute and your trumpet and your bloody piper. Anyway, on that note, you've all had an hour, and I've lost any thought pattern at all now about dog training. I've done I've done just over half a glass of vodka. Getting better, aren't I? Water, really. Anyway, on that note, I'm sorry that I've been rambling on a bit tonight. To be honest with you, I can't believe Paul Jarvis, 150 quid. 150 quid in a barber's. Where the hell does he go? Hey, is it Vildel Sassoon? What's his name? Viva Dassoon. Bollocks then. That's it. I'm going. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this evening. I hope I'll give you a little bit of entertainment and perhaps see you in the week. And see you Sunday. Anybody in the group? What would Chris be doing with a goat? It's a sheep up north. Julian Lees. Do you know, Julian? Can I ask you a question, Julian, before we go? Because you're there. How do you make a sheep? How do you make a U-turn? Grab it by the horns. Bollocks, Gov. Another good night. Have a good one. And you, Steve. Kieran, Wigan kebab. Pie on a bun rolled bap. Oh, can't beat a bap, can you? We call it cob. We call it a cob. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Catch you all later. Bollocks and good night to you all. I'm now having pains in the chest. I think I'm going to lie down on the settee and have a whiskey. Get a pensioner cut, Chris. Honestly. Thomas McNulty. How could I push the system? I keep saying I'm a pensioner, and Sue, you're not at the moment, Sue says. Good night, all. Chris Upton signing off. See you all later. How do I stop this again? Oh, it says end stream in big writing.